Have you ever been in a meeting, listening to people discuss a complex topic, and you have absolutely no idea what they're talking about? But instead of saying, "I don't understand, can you explain that?" you just nod, smile, and hope nobody asks for your opinion. Or maybe you've seen the opposite. A friend who is a brilliant doctor, but confidently gives terrible financial investment advice and ends up losing a fortune. Both of these scenarios stem from the same fundamental glitch in our thinking, a dangerous blind spot that prevents us from making good decisions and leads us into traps set by our own egos. But what if I told you there's a simple mental model used by some of the most successful people in the world that can help you avoid these mistakes, a blueprint to know exactly when to act decisively and when to step back and say the three most powerful words in the English language: "I don't know." This is the story of the Circle of Competence. Hello and welcome back to Psych Blueprint. The concept of the Circle of Competence was popularized by the legendary investors Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. For them, it is the single most important principle for durable success. The idea is devastatingly simple. Each of us has a circle of knowledge, containing the skills and domains we truly, deeply understand. Imagine a vast, dark room. That's all the knowledge in the world. Inside that room, there's a small illuminated circle of light. That is your circle of competence. Everything inside the circle you get. You know the rules, the nuances, the interconnections. Everything outside the circle, out in the darkness, is what you don't know, or only know superficially. The mistake most people make isn't having a small circle. The biggest mistake is not knowing where the perimeter of their circle is. They wander out into the darkness and are surprised when they stumble. As Buffett famously said, "What's important is not how big the circle is. What's important is how well you define the perimeter." In this video, we're going to deep dive into how our brain tricks us about that perimeter, the catastrophic consequences of stepping outside of it, and most importantly, how you can build and use this blueprint to design a life of wiser decisions. Part A. The origin and definition. The what. So, what exactly is a circle of competence? It is not what's on your resume. A resume is what you claim you know. The circle of competence is what you actually understand on an instinctual level. It's the domain where you've put in the thousands of hours of learning and practice, where you can consistently make accurate judgments. For Buffett, that circle included simple, understandable businesses like Coca-Cola or See's Candies. He understood how they worked, how they made money, and their competitive advantages. Consequently, during the dot-com bubble of the late 90s, when everyone was pouring money into tech companies they didn't understand, Buffett sat on the sidelines. He was mocked for being out of touch, but he knew technology was outside his circle. When the bubble burst, his wisdom was vindicated. The circle of competence isn't just about knowledge, it's about self-awareness and intellectual discipline. Part B. The mechanism. The how. Why is staying inside our circle so powerful? Psychologically, it protects us from one of the most dangerous cognitive biases, the Dunning-Kruger Effect. This effect, named after psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger, describes a bizarre phenomenon. People with low competence in a domain often dramatically overestimate their own ability. In other words, they aren't good enough to even recognize how bad they are. You see this everywhere. The person who has played guitar for a month and thinks they're ready for the stage, or the person who reads one article on economics and thinks they can run the central bank. Their brains lack metacognition, the ability to accurately self-assess. The circle of competence forces you to confront this reality. It demands intellectual humility. By actively defining what you don't know, you disable the overconfidence of the Dunning-Kruger Effect. It creates a safe boundary where your ego can't write checks that reality can't cash. Part C. The impact and case study. The so what. Just how disastrous can stepping outside your circle be? Consider the cautionary tale of long-term capital management, or LTCM. In the mid-1990s, LTCM was a star-studded hedge fund run by a team of financial geniuses, including two Nobel Prize-winning economists. Their circle of competence seemed infinite. They created fantastically complex mathematical models to predict and profit from tiny fluctuations in the bond market, and it worked phenomenally, until it didn't. In 1998, a Russian financial default, an event their models deemed nearly impossible sent shockwaves across the globe. LTCM's models, built in the sterile conditions of academic theory, completely fell apart when faced with the messy, irrational chaos of the real world. They had stepped outside their true circle of competence, from mathematical theory into chaotic real-world risk management. The fund lost $4.6 billion in a matter of months and came dangerously close to collapsing the entire global financial system before it was bailed out by the Federal Reserve. The smartest minds in the world failed, not because they were stupid, but because they failed to recognize the boundaries of their intelligence. It was a multi-billion-dollar lesson in the danger of confusing academic competence with real-world wisdom. So how can we apply this powerful principle to our own lives? Here is your 3-step blueprint for defining, operating within, and expanding your circle of competence. Strategy 1. Map your circle. Get brutally honest with yourself. Take out a piece of paper and draw a circle. Inside, write down the topics, skills, or domains you truly understand on a deep level. Ask yourself, what do people come to me for advice on? What subjects do I read about for fun? And next, in what area could I confidently debate an expert? Don't worry if your circle seems small. The goal here is honesty, not size. Outside the circle, list the areas you're curious about but admit you're a novice in. This simple act of visualization is the first step toward building genuine self-awareness. Strategy 2. Operate decisively within it and humbly outside it. Once you know your perimeter, use it. When a decision or problem falls squarely inside your circle, act with confidence and conviction. This is where you have an edge. But when a matter falls outside your circle, practice intellectual humility. Practice saying, "That's a great question, but it's outside my area of expertise." Or, "I'd need to learn more before I could have an opinion." This is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of supreme confidence and intelligence. It builds trust with others and prevents you from making foolish mistakes. Strategy 3. Expand your circle deliberately. The circle is not a prison. It's a home base. The goal isn't to stay in a small circle forever, but to expand it intelligently. Don't just skim articles. Pick one topic adjacent to your current circle and go deep. Read the foundational books, take a course, find a mentor. This process is called deliberate practice. It requires effort and focus, but it's the only way to truly turn a dark, unknown area into a familiar, illuminated part of your domain. Expand slowly, methodically, ensuring true comprehension before you claim new territory as your own. In the end, the circle of competence is not about limiting yourself. It is about liberating yourself, liberation from the pressure of having to know everything, liberation from the ego-driven mistakes that sabotage our success, and liberation to focus your energy where you can have the greatest impact. The story of LTCM and the wisdom of Buffett teach us a vital lesson. The world doesn't reward you for trying to know everything. It rewards you for being truly excellent at the important things you've chosen to master. Wisdom is not found in having an answer to every question. It is found in knowing the right questions to ask, and in knowing when to admit you don't have the answer. So, I'll leave you with a question. What is one area that you know for a fact is firmly inside your circle of competence? Share your unique expertise in the comments below. I would love to read them. And if this video gave you a new blueprint for thinking, hit that like button and subscribe to Psych Blueprint to continue the journey of building a better you. Thanks for watching.